that time of year. It's not much football on. Not a lot to talk about, really. But we're going to give it a crack. Let's see what's happening in the world of AFL. But more importantly, in the world of the Cats. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's Ben Reeve here from The Hoop Show. Thank you for joining me again. It's as I set off on the show opener, it's a very, very quiet period for the AFL and for the Catters, and we're still on a high, and thankfully winning a grand final keeps you on a bit of a high for about 6 months until the new season comes around. But there is a lack of Cats content out there at the minute. There's always a couple of things, and if you're following a few of the players on the socials, you're getting you're seeing their travels around the world. I think a few of the boys are in Bali, which is pretty standard. I think Brad Close, number one, he's in Bali with his lovely at the moment. And I think a few of the boys are a bit over here in Ireland as well, supporting Mark O'Connor, playing for his club over there. So it's been so the boys are here, there, and everywhere. It's been a bit of fun for them. They're letting their hair down. They're well deserved. It's been a big year for them. So happy that they're enjoying their time away from the club, and they don't get too big around the waist and have too many beers or whatever. But or at least if you're doing that, keep training, boys, because we want to go back to back, don't we? We definitely want to go back to back in 2023. One is never enough. This club has an appetite that cannot be satisfied. So, but there's a couple of things going on. Zane Williams was our mid-season draftee. He was in the news through the week, or not in the news. He was a couple of articles written about him, just saying he wasn't too happy about being let go by the club. He's comes off as a little bit bitter. I don't know if that's just the way the article was. The angle that the article took, but it came off as though he's a little bit bitter about being let go from the club and didn't feel like he had the opportunity to really prove what he was capable of, which I guess, maybe he's got a point. Like 3 months isn't really a lot of time when Geelong's flying. I don't know why we picked him up in the end, but club was flying. You're not really going to get a game, are you? But maybe it's a chance to see how you work within the Geelong system and at the VFL level, and it wasn't enough. So he's been given the old heave ho, and I think he's gone back to South Australia to play in the Sandful and have a crack over there. I can't remember who he's. I think it was Woodfield, West Torrens, or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. So shame for him that he couldn't make it work, but hopefully his career is not over and done with yet, and he'll get another opportunity down the track. In regards to what he said, though, about mid-season draftees getting longer contracts, look, I think probably consider yourself lucky that you got to be part of the AFL system for a little bit. I don't think it helps clubs necessarily. If you sort of take yourself out of the equation a little bit, I don't think it's helping. It helps the individual, clearly, to get a longer contract, but I don't know how beneficial that is for clubs to be offering players longer-term contracts. It's meant to be a bit of a band-aid fix, if anything. Not meant to be a career lifeline for someone. So anyway, that's my position on it. Mark Corrigan, the new VFL coach, he's a former premiership player with us for the VFL back in 2012. So it'd be good to have him back with the club. He's been here, there, and everywhere. Coached a few other teams and been with a few other AFL sides over the journey as well. So it's nice to get some former players, whether it be AFL or VFL, back into the club. He's a best and fairest in the VFL as well for us. I think Shane O'Bree's gone into a midfield coaching role and list manager or list assistant role, something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it. So Shane O'Bree, who's our former VFL coach, he's still around, but he's just moved into a different role, moved him sideways a little bit or sideways upwards, I'm not exactly sure. But Mark Corrigan will be the new VFL coach. So a bit of a different direction for the club moving forward there. We'll see what that looks like in a few weeks when we're all back, or a few months I should say, when we're all back and firing again. Hopefully, it's been a long time since we've had the VFL boys really contend for a premiership, so I'm keen to see them have a really good crack at it this time around. It really helps the VFL team, and not that we needed it this year, but it does help the AFL side when we've got two teams playing really well at both levels. So now Will Ashcroft, he's the likely number one pick. I think Adelaide's got the number one pick, but father-son rule for Brisbane. He's likely to go there, but he was saying, I think they were interviewing all the potential top 10 draftees, and he was saying he's really keen on Geelong, or has been really keen on Geelong. So, all of a sudden, all these opposition supporters are getting really butthurt about, Geelong's going to get another one. And yeah, it's true. We're going to get him down the highway. What, 2 years? Can we get him after 1 year? Jason Horne-Francis went to Port after 1 year, so why can't we get Will Ashcroft after 1 year? It'll be great. Let's bring him all down. They all want to come to Geelong, don't they? I don't know how we'll fit him in, but I'm not sure we will. But yeah, thank you, Brisbane. Let's get a pre-season him, look after him, don't injure him, and we'll gladly receive him in 12 months' time. Yeah, and we'll send you a nice thank you note and a box of Rose's chocolates. Thank you very much, Brisbane. In all seriousness, I think he'll have a long career with Brisbane. All his family's up there, I believe. So we'll see. He'll settle in nicely there, and we might see him at the tail end of his career or something like that if things aren't working out at Brisbane or there's opportunities down in Geelong. I don't think you necessarily. I mean, I think your family pulls you back to Geelong rather than the club you support. And I don't think it's more to do with that. I think it's that really than anything else. If you're a Falcon, that's great, but he's not a Falcon. So even Jai Clark, who we're looking at picking up in the draft or one of the options we're looking at as pick 7 in the draft, he's a Collingwood supporter. So, does that mean he wants to end up going to Collingwood? Look, maybe if the squeeze is on and he can't get games, he'll want to look at other options. But and I think his family's in Geelong though, so all his mates are in Geelong. So that's probably more the tie for him, as it likely will be for Will Ashcroft in the long run anyway. So, but anyway, it's good to entertain these ideas and have a bit of a giggle along the way and stir some opposition supporters up. I always enjoy that. In terms of the AFLW, the Cats women's had a narrow loss, unfortunately, to Adelaide. I was pissed off about that one because I thought we had them in the end. I thought Adelaide started really well. I thought, we're in trouble here. They're on. And then our girls just came back and found their way to the game. And just Adelaide didn't know how to handle it. And we were just in touch within a kick the whole game. And then we gave up that late goal, which is a bit disappointing. But we had a couple of opportunities moving forward, and the umpires just conspired against us. And no, they didn't conspire, but some couple of really important no calls that we didn't get, which is really disappointing. And maybe I was a bit hard on Twitter on the umpires, but I was really into it, and I was really pumped in the week leading up to it, thinking, here we go, we're going to win 5 straight. Oh, we've got a chance to win 5 straight, and then just to have it taken away from you through no necessary. Oh well, yeah, I said we gave up that late goal, but we had opportunities to make a forward rush, and there was I think it was Friswell, I think maybe could be wrong on that. Got that front on contact trying to mark it, and no call. And I get it, like in AFLW, they seem to pay a lot of. They just let the play go on. It's just maybe that's a directive that if there's any of these Tiggy Touchwood ones, just let it go. Whereas the men's, it's a bit more free-flowing, and if there's a free kick, you pay it. Whereas women's, I think maybe they just want the game to flow a little bit more, and they just let it go. I don't know if that's a directive or not, but it just feels to me as a neutral, or not a neutral, but a passive observer of the game, that's probably what's happening. But it did cost us. Not to say we were going to kick the goal. There's no, and it wouldn't have been a free kick inside 50 or anything like that, or we would have kicked the goal even if it was. But there was some couple of opportunities there that had we kept that momentum going, might have made a bit of a difference. But anyway, I guess probably the next thing really coming up in Catland is the draft coming up in November. What is it? We're nearly there at the moment. I think it's late October now. It's the national draft, which is, it's a bit of I don't get too excited about it, but the only thing I really get excited about is knowing who the new players are going to be for Geelong. The whole night itself is a bit meh for me, but knowing who the players are going to be coming in and then maybe thinking about what nicknames to give them, or figuring out their history or who they're from and where they're from and all that. That's always exciting. So we've got one good pick and then a few others that hopefully we'll find some diamonds in the rough with a few of our later picks. And there's always opportunity to trade and swap picks on the night as well, or leading up to it. So we'll see what happens with all that. And then in December, we've got the fixture release, which is probably, I'm more excited about that than the actual draft itself. So I always like looking ahead to seeing who we're playing, who the interstate trips are going to be. The AFL's proposing a magic round, which, if you haven't caught up with the news, that's an opportunity for a state to bid for the rights to hold the whole round, all 9 games in the one state on a particular weekend. So they're looking at extending the AFL season to It's 23 rounds at the moment, but it's a 22 game season for each club. But they're looking at extending it out to, I think, 24 rounds and 23 games. Again, I might be slightly off on that, but essentially it's an extra round. And I'm actually quite supportive of the idea. I think it'll be good. It'd be good to. I don't know how it's going to work with travel and accommodation bookings. If 100,000 people want to go to Perth to see, your team play in Magic Round or whatever that may be, but whether you can get a flight, whether you can get a hotel booking, I don't know how that's going to work. I guess it's similar to grand final weekend in Melbourne, though. You try and plan these things well in advance. If we can get the fixture out pretty early, though, in December, and then we can start looking ahead and figuring out who we're going to play. If it's a half-decent game, like if we're playing Hawthorn over there in Perth or something, I'm going to guess it's going to be Perth first round up. It might be worth thinking about it. If for me personally, I've got the family commitments, but if that all works out, or we can afford to take the whole family, I'd love to do that. But if it's just me and Beck, then yeah, happy to do that as well. That'd be nice to get away and see the Cats. I always love seeing the Cats Interstate. You're more likely to lose though, but when you win, oh my goodness me, it's so good. I still dirty. The last Interstate one I went to was the Sydney game, not the Buddy one, the one before that where the umpire didn't pay the mark to Jeremy Cameron. The ball didn't travel far enough apparently. Still dirty about that one. So yeah, look, keen to get the fixture out. Keen to see who we're playing twice. Don't know if we're going to play Sydney round one again. That seemed to be what they did last year with Melbourne and Bulldogs. I'd like to play Sydney again. It's nice to get a bank to 4 points early. Sorry, Sydney. No, you're a good team. You'll probably beat us if we played you again. But you had a shocker on grand final day. Let's just be honest. Yeah, well, I think we'll play Sydney a couple of times. We'll probably play them at home and unfurl the premiership banner. And that'll be nice, won't it, down at GMHBA. We still won't have a full stadium capacity for quite some time yet. I think the last thing they were saying was May. I probably should try and see if I can reach out to a couple of people that might know how that's tracking at the moment. I'll go past there every now and then and have a look at the progress. But it's hard to know on these things unless you're in the project team, you don't really know, or you're part of the funding bodies, and it's hard to know these things. But it'd be nice to see if that be up and running in May, like middle of the season. We can start having a full capacity there. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Be beautiful if we could do that, but who knows? We'll wait and see. Anyway, that'll probably do for me for another episode. Now, if you haven't already, please subscribe. See, Brad, look, pump of the fist, Brad. Pump that fist. Brad loves it when people subscribe to the Hoop Show. We had a massive increase in subscribers lately. I think we're up to 450 now subs for the channel. So thank you to everyone who's just joined up recently. I think it was a big increase. We posted a small video of Pumpkin the cat doing his thing with his footy and got about 15 subscribers out of that. I don't know how that happened, but if you are watching the show and you want to stick around and stay a subscriber for a little bit longer, that'd be fantastic. But if not, that's great. All good. Not a problem. Anyway, thanks again. I'm out, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everyone. See you later.